Hey guys, it's Justin at the Survivor Review, and today I'm going to do a comic book review of the new Batman comic book, Batman 66, which is based off of the classic Adam West and Burt Ward TV show, Batman, which started in 1966. It's just like a continuation off of that show, and which is something I really was looking forward to because that's one of my favorite shows. I just love it, campiness and all. It's awesome. I wasn't going to do a video on this at first, when they first announced it, but after reading the comic, I think it's a really unique and fun comic book that I just kind of want to talk about. And to start, I'm not going to be holding it up and showing it to you because it's a digital comic. And it's on the website that holds all the digital comics where you can buy them from. It's called Comixology. And that's where you can get all your digital comics. That's where when a new comic book comes out, it will be released digitally on there. And this is a special digital series that starts out. It's every week, every Tuesday. There's one issue every week for 99 cents. And then at the end of the month, they collect all the issues from during the week into an actual print version that you can buy at your local comic book store. So the weekly issues are a little bit shorter. They're not very long, and going into this stuff, I've read a few of these digital comics, these weekly ones, and I always thought that it felt weird because they are short. So I know you get it weekly, so you get more at a time, but it still just felt weird reading that little bit a week. It just felt very short. But this does it differently because it's the first comic to do this new format called DC2, where it's kind of like a motion comic. Not completely, but kind of like a motion comic. And when I first heard they were doing that in this comic, I was like, I just want to read it. I don't want to mess around with this gimmick. But after actually sitting down reading the comic and doing that motion thing, it's actually really cool. It's a really unique thing that I actually really enjoy. So, the comic books, I'm going to take a look at the first two issues, which have been released already. And just before I start looking at the actual comic, the first issue, I would say, is an alright start. It does go a little more for action, which really feels weird for a 60s Batman. The plot revolves around the Riddler, who's planning to steal this artifact, and Batman has to stop him, just like the show. But it has this whole plane chase, and Batman's jumping on this plane, trying to fight off Riddler. I have to admit, it was enjoyable, but it didn't really fit the show. But then the second issue came along, and that just perfectly fits the show. The second issue, they're still searching for the Riddler, and you have these great scenes where they're in the Batcave discussing everything, and then they go to this hideout, this club, and it happens to be Catwoman's hideout, and there's a fight scene there. That one was much more in tone with the show, much more fun to read. They're still really fun comic books to read, and I can't wait to read the next one. So let's take an actual look at the comic. So to start, here's the title screen. You can scroll by clicking the arrows or just using the arrow key on the keyboard, and just the images pop up like that. It's just like a motion comic that you can control by yourself, which makes the pace of the comic actually go by a lot slower and a lot better than it would if you were just reading it on its own. The likenesses of all the characters are great, including Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, which looks spot on, and Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman, which look perfect. Especially Adam West out of the mask, just as himself, looks great. It looks just like him. And finally, Julie Newmar as Catwoman looks great. All the likenesses are perfectly spot on. This actually really gets me excited to read the other issues and see the characters back again, like the Joker and the classic ones, and even the obscure ones like Egghead or even King Tut. Really cool to see how they look in comic book form, which is going to be a lot of fun. The coloring on the comic is very vibrant and bright, which really fits with the tone and the style of the series, which I like a lot, and it makes it stand out more instead of being all dark and in the shadows, which is not like how the show was. It was a very bright and colorful show. I love the inclusion of Dracula being the guy who looks out the window while Batman and Robin are crawling up the building, because to any other person that sounds utterly ridiculous and stupid, but it stays in the style of the show where they would have either a famous celebrity open up a window and look out, or even a character from the Addams Family be in there, so it was great throwback to the show, which was awesome. So that's Batman 66. Unique, fun throwback to the classic 60s Batman show that if you're a fan of, you will definitely get a kick out of this comic. They nailed everything down, like the lines, the artwork, and it's a lot of fun. It's not the best comic book ever, and even if for some reason you're expecting like the dark Batman of today, why are you reading that? Don't read it. It's pure camp, and it's enjoyable. And I say if you're a fan, check it out. 99 cents a week is not a bad price, especially for the whole motion thing, which you won't get if you get it in print. So I say get a motion. I'd get them online digitally. Usually I would say just wait for the print versions, but I would say get this one online. It's a cool thing to read every week, and definitely something I'm going to be looking forward to. So yeah, that's all I got for you now, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.